Hi, I'm Brooke Siffrinn, and I'm here with Sean Jackson, writer, director, and COO of Somnium Productions. How you doing today, Sean?
Hey, Brooke, how you doing?
I'm good. Okay, now tell us how you got into filmmaking. What made you want to become a filmmaker?
I was raised on TV. I was raised when I was a kid. You know, I was raised by a single parent, and my mother was off working, and I watched a lot of TV. And it wasn't the same kind of kids TV because I watched Ultraman and Johnny Sacco and all of that stuff too. But you know, I would watch the movies and I would watch the series, and I was a big fan of Twilight Zone. And it wasn't for the horror aspect of Twilight Zone. It wasn't for the science fiction aspect of Twilight Zone. At a very young age, I connected with the stories, and I was able to recognize good storytelling. And you know, I'm a writer first and foremost, and that's what made me want to become a writer, and that's what ultimately took me to the next step into directing.
So, okay, talk a little bit about Somnium Productions. I mean, I know because I've worked with you guys, you know, why Somnium is so different than some of the other companies in Vegas. Why do you think Somnium's different?
Well, Somnium's different. Well, let me take you back to the history. You know, when I first, I was writing for, like I said, since I was 15. I came to Vegas in 2002, and I came here. I didn't want to go all the way to LA, but I wanted to be close to LA because the cost of living was so much better here than there. So I came here, and I knew I could take classes or whatever, just do the 4-hour drive. And when I first came in town, I looked for, you know, who's making films in Vegas. And I went around from different crew to different crew, and I found the same thing. It's just these clusters of dysfunction. You know, I would go and help someone out, and I would be there, and maybe another good-hearted person be there, but everyone else there was there for a reason other than to make the film. You know, they're trying to pick up on actresses. You know, they're behind the director's back talking about how they do it different, and it wasn't a creatively conducive environment. So I, you know, kept volunteering with different film crews, and the few cool people on each one of those little movies, I would, you know, like, hey, can we keep in touch? Hey, can we keep in touch? And then when I hooked up with my partner, Kathleen Shin, we're both equal partners in Somnium Productions, legally, because Somnium's a whole family. But legally, it's her and I. You know, we went back to those people, and we amassed a group of filmmakers that would get behind a single vision and be there to help each other. It's not always, because if you look at Somnium Productions, Alberto Triana has made a couple films, Brent Mukai has made some films, Chris Maeshiro's about to make another film, Kathleen is going to direct again pretty soon. So it's about a filmmaking collective where we all help each other and all stand behind each other's creative vision. And you know, you've been there, it's like a family.
Yeah.
Like it's not just about when I want to make a film.
Right.
When my DP Mitch, who's a great director by the way, when Mitch has a film, we stand behind him. When Berto has a film, we stand behind him. And when Kathleen and I created the company, we knew that we wanted to have that creatively conducive environment, and that's why I think the number one thing that makes us different than other crews.
I'd have to agree.
Good.
Okay, so from when you started to now, what's the most important thing you've learned, you know, to do differently, or?
We don't have enough time to.
The most important thing.
Be open. Be open. I mean, you know, there are people that have asked me to help them with their film, and I've done a bunch of shorts, and they ask me, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, dude, you're making a film, I'll help you. And when they're like, it was someone I met at the Indie Film Factory. I helped them with something, and while they were directing, even though I've directed a lot more things than they have, I'm looking and seeing what this person is doing that I can take and add to my own directing repertoire. You know, whenever someone's directing, whenever someone's doing anything on a film set, I'm constantly assessing what I do versus what they do, because I believe my directing style is fluid, my writing style is fluid, and creatively I'm always fluid. I'm always looking to add and get better, and I'm constantly assessing and looking for my mistakes so I can root them out and get better, no matter what the particular discipline of filmmaking is.
Okay. Now, as far as indie films go, you kind of are involved in every aspect of it. You know, when it's a low budget, sometimes you're the writer, director, and editor. What are like the pros and cons of being that involved in your project?
Well, we'll go to my first feature film. It's something I'm dealing with recently, like right now, actually. actively dealing with. You know, because I've made so many shorts, I've looked at the things that I've done when I've edited all my shorts, and a lot of the shorts that were early on were edited really fat because I was too close to it. If I could take someone else's work and cut it really, you know, cleanly, it's my words, my work. I want to just, and I noticed that about 4 or 5 years ago, and I've really been trying to be like, you know, a hacksaw with my films when I edit them. And the first act of Bubblegum, I cut pretty tight too. But when it got into the second and third act, which is actually edited by my editor, Hector Marin, who is a great editor, but we were both too close to it. Plus, I made the mistake of setting the date for the film's premiere before the film was done. And then because of all kind of crazy issues, everything got pushed back, and we were just like, you know, editing so fast going to the end. And the first premiere cut and the VIF cut that we sent at Vegas Independent Film Festival were pretty fat. So we had worked on it for so many months, we had to step back from it. And I look at it now, you know, just recently, and we just cut like 15 minutes off it. And it was so automatic. And I just saw right there I was too close to my work. Way too close to it. And I drug Hector in there with me, because Hector, you know, we weren't even talking when we were doing the second edit or we were polishing the edit. We were just like cut. So, you know, being too close to it.
All right, let's talk about Bubblegum and Broken Fingers. Where did the idea come from originally?
The idea came, I'm a thematic writer. So when I write something, it's always based around a theme. My grandmother used to say something, and it's said in the first 5 minutes of the movie. She said, if you don't have your own plan, you'll damn sure be part of someone else's. That is the theme that's explored in Bubblegum and Broken Fingers. Certain elements in the movie, like certain characters like the Germans and Heidi, for those of you who've seen the movie, those are actually things. In the movie, there's a part where these Germans get out of a truck and these 2 German dudes are on vacation, but they have like this little girl with them that's like a sex slave. That came out of actually being in Nelson, the place that we shot it. And I was sitting there on a photo shoot with some other buddy I was helping do something, and these Germans pull up and they get out, and they both look happy and jovial, and they have on these Las Vegas t-shirts, like all day, all night Las Vegas on it. And then this poor little girl gets out of the car and she's just like following them around. And she's bummy, her shoes are bad, and I'm like, she just seemed like a little sex slave. And I was like, wow, I think they're raping this kid. I was like, oh, I gotta write about that. And I was in the middle of Bubblegum, and that kind of just injected itself in there.
Okay, so how did you come up, with the second and third act? How did you come up with the whole idea?
The second, and a lot of people don't know this, the second and third acts, we shot the first act, sent it to some film festivals, got in some really good film festivals. Detroit Windsor, got in the Palm Beach Film Festival, a couple other ones. And we took the first act cut, we took it to some private investors, and we sold shares of the movie. We broke it down into a 100-share structure, and we sold pieces of it, and that's how we got the completion funds. Now, in the middle of all that, Jason, who plays Rodney in the first act, he works for Cirque du Soleil. He went to Moscow, he went
to New York.
Spain. No, he went to New York first, and he went to Spain. Then he left, and that changed everything. So I had to rewrite the second act. Something else happened. We had to change the personnel. Someone I couldn't work with, then I had to rewrite it again. So the second act you see is, once I had the money from the investors, I can't just say screw it. We're just gonna make another movie. I had to make this thing happen. So I had to come up with a story that fit what we already had. It was a challenge as a writer. It's not an excuse. I wrote what I'm very proud of, and that's what we got. Actually, same thing kind of happened for the third act.
Now talk a little bit about the music aspect of the first short. The last however many minutes, there's no dialogue, nothing, just music.
Yeah.
Why did you choose to do that?
Well, it was a very risky choice, but I wrote myself into that choice. I could have done something else, but Cammy's character is mute. It was only really 3 people in the last scene. Cammy's character is mute. The other girl don't speak English, and she doesn't talk much. Her whole character, she says 2 lines through the whole feature. And Jason's character had nothing to say to either one of them. Mm-hmm. So there was just nothing to say, but a lot of, things that physically needed to happen. So, yeah, I just had to pick the right song.
It worked.
Thank you.
I will say.
Thank you. It's all subjective. Somebody out there probably thinks it didn't. I think it worked, and you think it worked.
Probably. I've heard.
can't, whatever.
Okay, so what's next? What's next with Bubblegum first?
After first festival we screened was VIF. We got the Best Nevada Film, and that was awesome. After that, well, let me backtrack. After our premiere, we went to California, met with a couple of people, got some really bad offers, really like sucker offers. It was like, nah. And so we said, okay, we'll put it on the circuit for a while. We got into VIF, won the Best Nevada Film at VIF, and then we got some more offers afterwards, which were better, but still not worth taking. Mm-hmm. So we've decided to let it play out through the film festival circuit through midsummer, and then see what's happening from there.
What are you going to do if you don't get that offer you want?
Well, I mean, there's offers on the table. I don't know. Well, if I don't get the offer I want? I don't think like that. I think I'm always going to get the offer I want. I think I'm going to get the offer I can live with. But if we don't, there's other avenues. We could go through an aggregate, send it through an aggregate if they accept it, through Netflix. I can always put it up on iTunes. There's different avenues. Yeah. And more importantly, thank God, even the people that we did not strike a deal with, we got a lot of what's next. And when you go to sell a movie or you go to present something, even if they don't take it, that's the best thing to hear in Hollywood. Well, what else you got?
Yeah.
What else you got? And pretty much since the premiere, we've been working on what else you got. So there's a lot of balls up in the air, and I have to be very careful of what deal I take, because it's not just me, it's my whole family, it's my whole Somnium family. So whatever I take or whatever course of action we chart from here, our whole company's future is on the line. So I'm going to give it a lot of thought.
I've been an agent for 39 years. Not too much evil I ain't seen, and sadly, this situation here isn't the worst.
What the fuck y'all whispering about? We gotta get the boat. What the fuck, Rod?
After that, I had enough to convict 4 key members of the Cavaletti crime family. Then, everyone starts going nuts over some package.
Does she have the case and everything?
She's a mutant.
She ran into a bit of trouble, but we've got everything.
Yamato, U.S. Marshal.
Marshal?
Now we've got Yamato from the Marshal Service hot on Sarah Newcastle's trail.
This is our case.
It's something about the person I am right now that makes this.
I'm searching.
Certain shit you see. It makes you reflect on your own life, focus on your own mistakes. I said to myself, you're thinking too much. Make the arrest and that's it.
I need all your info on Sarah Newcastle.
You got all I'm gonna give you.
I knew Gibson wasn't giving up any more info.
Getting you this far was payback enough.
Didn't hurt to try.
It's time to play hardball with that bird.
Where's Blix?
That's enough. She's our prisoner, and you can go.
You want me to make a call?
And right before we get here, I get a call from a buddy telling me to hightail it over to Yuma. Now, I can't do both.
No, you can't.
I got a lead on Mary and Sarah Newcastle.
Know the world.
I'm gonna need that address.
Doesn't mean
I figure it's God's will.
that I feel.
Just the same as whatever happens to anyone in that motel room.
Hi, I'm Sean Jackson. You're watching FilmWars.com.